wanted to know if I would be hot and I would overheat, and there was comments everywhere about that. No, I was not hot. I'm Canadian, I know my weather. Hi, I'm Sylvie of High Level Bandanas, and today I'm finally giving you the grand reveal of my crochet wedding dress. This video though, just me flustered when I got right back into my house 2 seconds ago. Oh, guys, when I tell you that I filmed this video twice already, twice. This is the third time, and I've just had to run to the store to go get another battery because I filmed it once, my mic died. I filmed it a second time with a new battery. Little did I know, it died. Like, I couldn't even get through the intro. My dad gave me another battery and I put it in and it didn't even work. So I just ran to the store. I have only 1 hour until supper time, and then I can't film this for the rest of the week. And you guys have been saying that I've been blue balling you from posting my wedding photos. So that's what's going on with me right now. I'm not purposefully blue balling you. It's just sometimes in life you have to put yourself first, and I do take care of myself and I do want to put myself first. So as you may know, I just moved across the entire country. I got married, I went on honeymoon, and I just got back about 2 or 3 days ago at this point. I needed to take time for myself and relax. And I did try to film this right as I got back, but it is what it is. And on top of that, my ring light, if you see it flashing, it is just, I don't know what happened in the move, but it decided to not work anymore. This backdrop is obviously different, so if you've been keeping up with me, I have moved across the entire country. This is actually the house that I grew up in, so this is my teenage bedroom. Hence the posters and hence the moving boxes right now. We're just staying here until we buy a house, but we're both pilots, so our training won't even be in the town that we are living in, so there's no point in buying a house right now if we're not going to be living in it. So now that we're back from me being flustered, let's just get right into it. I have my preview photos and some videos, and I will be popping as many of them as I can on the screen. But right off the bat, here is everything that I made so that you guys can just see it right now. So first off, there was my flower bouquet. I made mine, and then I made all of my bridesmaids, except on the day of, I actually realized that I forgot to make one, but one of my friends was holding her baby, so it kind of compensated. But yeah, I'll talk about that in detail after. Then I made the groomsmen ties. I made my husband's socks. I made flowers for my hair and my bridesmaid's hair. And then off the top of my head, I think that's it for everything that I crocheted or knitted. I literally forgot to say the dress. Like, I obviously made the dress. Here's some photos of it. I really loved it. Here's some photos of all of everything together with the ties and the flowers. And I just can't believe I forgot to say the dress itself, but okay. But I did make a lot of other stuff that we won't really see in this video, including like all the menus, all the little nameplates, a lot of the details. It was just all made by me. So I did put a lot of work into it. And without further ado, let's go right into the questions and show you even more photos and videos. I'm gonna scoot over to this side so that I can put your questions and any photos here. Let's do it. How many hours did it take to crochet your wedding dress? This has been the most asked question, and the easy answer is I have absolutely no idea. I crochet to relax. And so because of that, I don't try to actually keep count of what I'm doing. I just kind of go. I did make it over a span of 1.5 years, but it did not take 1.5 years, like literally, to make. You guys know what I mean. Probably 2 to 3 seasons of my 600-pound life. How did you decide the various components of the dress? Color, shape, details, etc. Did you have a clear vision from the beginning, or did the idea change as you continued on? I really love that question, so thank you so much for asking. This dress, if you guys have been keeping up with me, you know that it's been, like I just said, I did this over a span of 1.5 years, so many things changed. Originally, it was just gonna be very based off the sweet pea dress, which I do have a tutorial for, but it did end up changing. So the bodice was this champagne color. I don't know why I didn't just pick pink from the start. That was a regret for me. And then, you know, I just kind of kept on going until I actually ran out of this white. And I went back to the store and they didn't have any of it, and they didn't have any of the champagne color either. So that's when it took a turn and I ended up adding the pink at the bottom. I think that this dress has also shown a lot of my progress within the 1.5 years. Can I make a tutorial on how to crochet the tie? So the tie is not actually my pattern. It's, I believe, from Suvi's Crochet. I will link it down below. It is a free pattern on Google. Was it worth it, or was the time/stress too much? I would say that sometimes during the process process, I thought that it was too much. I didn't really think of the time as a factor. I did have kind of a love-hate relationship with it, as it sort of like went in its different phases. Sometimes I was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? But I ended up really loving it and wearing it on my wedding day. So yeah, I would say that it was definitely worth it. Was making a lot of stuff cheaper than buying it or having someone else make it? I don't know if it was cheaper. I would say that I definitely have $400-ish worth of yarn in this dress, and that's not even counting the other materials like the ribbons or the rhinestones or whatever. The ties were made with pretty expensive yarn. I love the yarn, but it is superwash merino wool, and so not cheap. The area where I did save money, if you don't count my time, was probably my wedding bouquet, and that's just because I was sent the yarn. So this is all from Hobby. I also have a few flowers in here that people gifted me. So this tulip my mother and sister-in-law got when they went to England and brought it back for me. This flower, it is indigenous beadwork, and that comes from where I lived in Saskatchewan. A very special bouquet that some people contributed to and that I made. I couldn't even imagine having to have a flower budget. What was the hardest thing about crocheting your wedding dress? I think it was just persevering through the stages where I thought that I really hated it and that it was ugly. Not dress related, but you work in an airline. Would love to hear more about that. Yes, I do. This channel, fun fact, used to be an entire like student pilot. Like I vlogged when I did all of my flight training. That's all private now because I got humbled real quick when I actually started working in the aviation industry. I do prefer to keep that aspect of my life private because it is my professional life as opposed to my personal creative life that I do love to share with you guys. But I wouldn't mind making a little Q&A video or something about that, and maybe sharing more or vlogging more when I'm on layovers. So if you want to see that, let me know. How much yarn did it take to make the dress? It's sort of the same vibe as how much time did it take? I have no idea. Because I made it over a period of 1.5 years, at the start, I used to keep the little tags of every skein that I used. I don't know where those are anymore, and I can't remember, but a lot of yarn. When did you start crocheting? I started crocheting in 2020. What was the yarn that you used and how much did you use? So I started with Concept by Katia Alpaca, which I will link the colors and the actual yarn down below. And then the bottom of it is all from Polka Dot Creek. The lighter pink is Surrey Silk Alpaca in the shade Ballerina. And then the darker one is actually their mohair in the color Lobster Bisque, which I will leave down below. I love Polka Dot Creek. They're a local yarn store where I lived in Alberta. So if you guys are in the Calgary area, they now have a store open in Cochrane as well as Airdrie. So go check them out because they've been there every step of the way for me. So shout out Polka Dot Creek. Can you make me one? No, I don't think I'm ever gonna make a project this tedious ever again unless I really need to. Also, I've sort of touched on this before, but I don't sell any tangibles. Definitely think that crochet pieces cost a lot of money because you're charging for good materials and charging for your time. Never undervalue yourself, by the way. But because of that, I feel like it puts a pressure on me to make it perfect, and I would want it to perfectly fit the person and what they want, and I just don't want that pressure. I don't want to turn my hobby, something that I love doing, into something that I have to do. So I don't make tangibles, but I do sell my patterns. Do you have a pattern for the flowers? I don't. So here, let me show you. My Lou head fell. So all of these little flowers I just sort of freehanded. It's a mixture of doing like a whole bunch of just chains and then slip stitching into the middle until I got as many petals as I wanted. I don't really know what I did for these ones. These are just hot glued onto one of those wires. And then I'll leave the pattern for the sunflowers and the tulip if I can find it. I believe that I got these two from Fun & Cloud on Ribbler. They have tons and tons of patterns for flowers, so I will link that down below. Was your husband just supportive of all the crochet things, or was some of it his idea? So he's obviously the most supportive person to me. I wouldn't be able to work as hard as I do on social media if it wasn't for his help. He is the behind the scenes. So he was extremely supportive, and what he did pick was the crocheted ties, and he picked out the color. And it's funny because we were just talking about this today and kind of saying, with him picking the color of the yarn for the ties, he sort of picked the entire color scheme for the whole wedding, so that's really special to me. How was your wedding, and was there any mistake? The wedding was absolutely amazing. I don't think that there were any mistakes. I Couldn't ask for it to have gone any better. Did everyone like the dress? Well, no one told me that they didn't like the dress, but people did have a lot of questions about it and complimented it a lot. But also, I don't think anybody would tell the bride on her wedding day that they hate her dress that she spent thousands of hours on. So take that information and do with it what you will. All right, we're going to Instagram comments. What was the most difficult aspect of incorporating crochet into your perfect day, and the best aspect? I don't know if there was a difficult aspect. I think that it just sort of happened very naturally. I wanted my wedding to be very personalized, and so this made it extremely me and extremely high-level hubby as well, because he helped out. He made some of the flowers and everything. So you know what, the hardest aspect was just like the timeline and having to make so much. I didn't really realize how much I had to do. The best part, it was us. It made it unique. It made it us, and it blended in perfectly on the day of. Did you wear the dress for the ceremony or the reception? I wore this for the reception. For the ceremony, I wore my beautiful, beautiful ceremony dress. I'm obsessed with it. If you guys want me to make a video on how I picked out that dress, why I picked it out, show you it in all the detail and glory that it is, I can do that as well. Just let me know down below. But I love my dress. I love my dress. What do you wish you had done differently with your dress? I honestly don't think that I could have done anything differently. Maybe the back, just because it lifted a little bit in the back, but it really wasn't that big a deal, especially with the petticoat. Which petticoat did you order for this dress? I'll see if I can find it. It is on Amazon. I can link it down below, and maybe I'll add it to my Amazon storefront as well. This one says, how many skeins of yarn, which I've already sort of not answered, but total skeins for the whole wedding aesthetic. I don't know. Too many! Did your bridesmaids also have something crocheted? Yes, they did. So they all had their own flower bouquets, except that the day before when I was packing for the wedding, I realized I accidentally made 4 bouquets, including mine. I had 4 bridesmaids, so I guess that's the number that I had in my head. The number 4, oddly enough, kept coming up. Like, I accidentally made invites that all said September 4th instead of September 7th, and other weird things with the number 4, but I don't read too much into that. But it ended up working out because one of my bridesmaids actually carried her baby down the aisle instead of a bouquet of flowers. And then when we all took photos together, all the bridesmaids sort of took one flower out of their bouquet and one of their ribbons and gave it to her, so that she would also have a bouquet. So that was really, really sweet. And then I crocheted flowers to go in my hair, and I had a few extras. So the hairdresser put 1 flower in each of their hair as well. And it just was so cute. In your opinion, what is the best stitch for a dress? My go-to, if you guys are familiar with my patterns, a lot of my dresses, a lot of my tops are all griddle stitch. So it is alternating single crochet and double crochet, and then the next row is the opposite. If you watch my sweet pea dress tutorial on YouTube, it shows you how to do that, but it gives it this sort of texture and it's not too see-through, which I love. And then for my skirts, I always go with half double crochet. Double crochet would be too see-through and too long, and single crochet would just be too much because you still want it to be sort of airy because it is yarn and it's gonna be very heavy. So I'm a big fan of the half double crochet for the skirts and griddle stitch for the top. What was the easiest thing you crocheted for your wedding, and what was the hardest thing you crocheted for your wedding? The easiest was the flowers. I would say the ties, but it's so repetitive and it's just like 400 rows or something that it was just a pain. And even though it was easy to do, it was kind of like not fun to do. And then the hardest thing that I crocheted was definitely the dress. Did you have enough yarn to make it, or did you have to do multiple trips? I did multiple trips. Also, did you check how the yarn would look on camera before you crocheted everything? Sorta. Like, I've been filming this whole thing since the start, so it's not like I got a professional photo shoot done to see what the yarn would look like, but I definitely sort of knew what it would look like. All right, on to TikTok. Do you have a pattern for the dress, or did I use a pattern for the dress? If so, could I post it? Do I think that gluing gems to the yarn would be itchy? First part of that question, I don't have a pattern specifically for this dress, but it is pretty much exactly the sweet pea dress pattern, which I do have. It is currently only $1 on my website, so are every single patterns. All my patterns are $1 on my website right now, so definitely go. And the link will be below, obviously. But basically I did that, and then I just made the sleeves longer and started decreasing every 10th row. Did I think gluing gems to the yarn would be itchy? No, because it's just on the outside. So rhinestoning it was my least favorite part of this because it took so long and it was right at the end. You know what? It was kind of therapeutic. How was the texture in spots on my skin? You guys wanted to know if I would be itchy so bad. It wasn't itchy. I wouldn't make a whole entire dress if I didn't know that I wasn't allergic to the alpaca yarn. Breathing it in, definitely, yeah, that affected my lungs while I was crocheting with it. But to wear it, this is the softest. I wish you guys could feel through the screen how soft this is. Oh, it felt really nice to change into this after having this big heavy dress on as well. Less or more expensive than a normal wedding dress? Definitely less. Depends what you define as a normal wedding dress. Like I said, I think I spent between $400 and $500 on yarn alone for this dress. If you don't count my time, then definitely less expensive than something in the thousands. If you count my time, probably on par with something in the thousands for sure. Do you plan on using it for other dates, occasions, or is it a one and done? Good question. I don't know. I feel like I could totally wear it for other occasions. It's kind of perfect for Canadian weather too. I was not hot, by the way, guys. I was not hot. You guys wanted to know if I would be hot and I would overheat, and there was comments everywhere about that. No, I was not hot. I'm Canadian. I know my weather. It was perfect. It was short on the bottom so my legs could have nice airflow, and then nice thin sleeves that covered me at the 15-degree weather and rain and mist and all that stuff outside. It was perfect. Anyway, sorry, that was kind of like a weird tangent. Yeah, I could definitely wear it again. It just has that connotation to me in my head that like this is my wedding dress. Definitely not one and done. I feel like I spent way too much time on it, honestly. Did you make a slip for underneath so the bodice wasn't see-through? If you guys watch part 1 or part 2, whatever, you'll see that, yeah, originally I did have it, especially if you guys watched the earlier reels or TikToks, whatever, you'll notice that there was always that sort of like white part underneath. I ended up just ripping that right out. I just ended up sewing in these little boob cups and some boning on the inside. And then I had the petticoat underneath the skirt and shorts underneath the skirt. What gave you inspiration to make your wedding dress and crochet everything? You guys, my ring light. But yes, you guys, definitely. Just like having my account and having people support me and tell me that they love everything that I make, it just makes me want to like push and keep going. And like I said earlier, I really wanted a big part of me into my wedding, and I'm very crafty, and yeah, I felt like I needed to, you know? Let me fix this stupid light. Tips or details on your designing process? I don't know that I have like a designing process. For me, it's mostly that an idea will pop into my head of what I want something to look like, and then I just have to make it. I usually don't draw anything out. And then typically it always sort of changes as I go, just because of how I see it in my head or what the fabric actually looks like once I make it. So that's sorta, yeah, it's just chaotic. I am chaotic. If I did a bouquet throwing, who caught it? No, we didn't, because that was metal wires and very heavy. Although a lot of people did bring a lot of the flowers back. So when the bridesmaids were done doing all their photos, they came back to our venue and they put each flower into individual vases that we had on each table. And the very last question, did I do my first dance in the crochet dress? So we're not very traditional. None of it was like, we didn't do a grand entrance. I don't love the attention on me, so we didn't schedule like a first dance or anything specific. We did throw in our song, which is Can't Help Falling in Love With You by Elvis Presley, and we kind of told each other that if it would play, then we would do our little slow dance together. During our party playlist after supper, where I was in my crochet dress, at the very end of the night when the staff started cleaning up, everybody was outside because we had a fire pit with s'mores and everything, so everyone was outside, and I could hear from the inside that the song was playing. So I actually went and got Riley and we ran inside together and we started dancing to the song, just he and I indoors. Nobody else was inside except the staff cleaning. If you want to see it with the music overlaid so that you can sort of hear what we were hearing, I did post it on, I think, Shorts, but I definitely posted it on my Instagram and on my TikTok with the actual sound because everybody was outside. So this is one of my favorite moments from the wedding. They saw that was going on through the window. So we were slow dancing, and then I turn around and I see everybody staring at us through the window, and like some people were filming and stuff. So I will let you guys enjoy that. But just know that we were actually dancing to music. It's just everybody filming was outside and they didn't have the music on. So cue that.
Aww. He's like, oh, everyone's watching, I'm just gonna like lower my head.
So cute.
So not
Gonna be so funny. After the moment is done.
Yeah. So funny. All right.
And I think that that sums everything up. If you have any more questions, I will be lurking in the comments, so I'll be ready to answer everything. Sorry that this was a little bit chaotic. I obviously just moved, just got back from honeymoon, so sorry this took a while to make as well. I did need to wait for the photos to come back, and the photos I have are very limited. This is just my sneak preview album. It's not even the entire album. So once I've got more photos, if you want, I will be posting them. And be sure to check out my Instagram where I will be posting just straight photos, not a short or a reel or anything, if you guys want to see those in more detail. On that note, guys, thank you so much for supporting me throughout this whole journey. This dress has gotten me so many more of you. I know a lot of you found me through this, and I hope that you will stick with me afterwards, because I am more than my wedding dress. But you know, the brain that created the wedding dress is the brain that will also keep creating. So hopefully you guys stick around for all the other content that I have planned for you guys. And with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.